Greetings and welcome to Stunt Hangar Video Hangouts. My name is Charles Carter. I'll be your host this evening. I want to extend to you my gratitude for you watching Stunt Hangar Video Hangouts. If you're watching this as a replay, I want you to know that I host these YouTube live streams every Monday and Friday evening starting at 6:45 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So please make a note of this so you can watch or be part of the live stream. Plus, we have an after party following the live stream, which is sometimes better than the live stream portion. You must be a registered Stunt Hangar Forum member to find the link to be part of the live stream and the following after party. Here at Stunt Hangar Video Hangouts, we talk about building and flying model airplanes, sport flying, competition flying, and what you've been doing lately. To join our conversation, if you are already a member of Stunt Hangar Forum, you can find the link if you scroll down to the section called At the Bench, which is right below in memory of our friends. Now, if you're not a member or if you're not logged into Stunt Hangar Forum, the At the Bench link will not appear. Now, if you're not a member, please register at stunthangar.com/SMF. That's stunthangar.com/SMF. That's Smart Men Flying. That's courtesy of Jeff Riley. You must place a space between your real first and last name when you register. You must also use a valid email address or Sparky. The proprietor of Stunt Hangar will not approve you. Now, if you're inclined to not come in and just enjoy watching us on YouTube, wonderful, fantastic. You can enter your questions or comments over here at the chat box. Now, I'll do my best to make your questions or comments a part of the show, but understand sometimes I can't get a word in myself, so be patient, and I will ask our illustrious panel your question or state your comments. And by the way, you only can do this during a live stream. So like I said earlier, I host these YouTube live streams every Monday and Friday evening starting at 6:45 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. If you find the Stunt Hangar video hangouts that I host or the many building videos, the contest coverage that Sparky does on this platform informative and enjoyable, please hit the thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. Please subscribe, share, and like the videos. That helps the analytics of the YouTube channel grow. Please also consider joining Stunt Hangar's YouTube channel memberships, which start at just $4.99 a month, which is less than 17 cents a day. And by the way, I'm a member. I don't have to do that, but I do it. I believe it in this show. I love the content. I love the people we have come in. I think the information we are providing will really help you take your building or flying to the next level. And to me, it's a steal at just 17 cents a day, $4.99 a month. I do it, and I don't miss it. And I suspect you won't miss it either. Now, if you don't want to do the subscription, do the super chat, which is right below the chat box over here. And it's like a big dollar sign. Click on that during a live stream. It's only available during the live stream, though. But so if you're watching this as a replay, look for the super thanks. You might need it to move your cursor around and find it, but there's a thing called the super thanks, and you can donate any amount you like. I hope that you, when you make your donations, you determine the amount based upon what you're getting in return. I think that if you're getting good value in return, I think you should donate, accordingly. And I'd ask you to do that, please. Now, if you want to get in touch with me, if you have some questions or comments, the best way to reach me is not here, because I don't get notifications of any comments or questions, because this is not my YouTube channel. This is Sparky's YouTube channel. If you want to reach out to me, go to my YouTube channel, which is called Flying Control Line Stunt. Let me repeat that. That's Flying Control Line Stunt. And if you would, please locate the 2019 AMA National Championship video, which is a video which Sparky shot with his video camera of me flying his beautiful and light Junar XL. It was orange back then. And if you click on that video and comment or have a question, I'll be notified. I'll be able to respond to you quickly. I want to thank you for your past, your present, and future support. You are making it happen. Please keep the conversations family room friendly. In other words, please don't use words to do things you wouldn't say or do around your own children or grandchildren. And without any further ado, I'm now going to post the link at Stunt Hangar Forum. Let me do that right now. I got the link already. Let's see here. Yep. So it's going to be titled Stunt Hangar Video Hangout Monday, January 8th, 2024. So if it's not there, just keep clicking the refresh, and you should be able to come on in. And come on in, please do. Now I'm going to make my way over to the what I call the control panel. Let me make my way there now. Let's see there. Today's Monday. Hopefully you had a good weekend and had a chance to work on your shop or work on your plane or go flying, and hopefully you share with us tonight how things are going. I'm very interested in what's happening. I myself am still suffering with this vertigo issue, so I did not fly today. But I did over the weekend. I painted the undercarriage of my SV11. I need to put it back together, but it came out okay. Let me see. Let me just do a little bit of editing here real quick, and we'll be cooking with gas. And let me get that going. And let me do this also. All right. Let me see. Just bear with me 1 second here. All right, here we go. All right, great. Fantastic. All right. Great. So anyways, like I was saying earlier, painted the undercarriage, and the plane has well, I've logged at least 300 flights with that plane. So the undercarriage, some of the paint got chipped away, and it was just kind of looking a little bit worn. And so I thought it needed a little freshening up. So hopefully be ready for another flying season until I build my own, which I really haven't had a chance, or at least I shouldn't say that. I haven't worked on it. But I hope to get back on it and get this other SV11 built. Anyway, so that's what I've been up to, and I'm looking forward to hearing what other people have been up to. I see we have 11 concurrent viewers right now. We have 3 likes. So if you haven't smashed that like button, please do that. That helps the analytics of the program, and it's for real. It really makes a difference. So hit the likes and subscribe, share, comments, all those engagements help. And I have the first one in the chat box. It's Daniel Berry Sports Highlights. He says, hey, thank you, Daniel Berry Sports Highlights, for coming in. I appreciate that. And let's see here. Hopefully we get some people in here shortly, and we can start getting this show going. Well, I was talking to a friend of mine, and he sent me a picture of his airplane he just finished recently. Man, what a beautiful plane. It's P-39. I should have asked his permission if I could share it with you guys, but it's a pretty, I don't know if it's considered scale or semi-scale, but very, very pretty. I hope to share it with you shortly. I know Jim Hoffman has seen it because it's a friend of Jim. It's a mutual friend of Jim Hoffman. And pretty plane. Wow. What a piece of art. So now we have 6 likes. Thank you, the 6 of you. I appreciate that. There's still some of you who have not hit the like button. Please hit the like button. And we have Dennis Adamison. He's a member of our YouTube channel. He's giving us a like. He says, gonna be late tonight. All right. Well, thank you, Dennis, for giving me the heads up. I am looking forward to people coming in, and we can have a good show. Let me see here. I really haven't been flying, so like I said, I've been working on painting the SV11, the undercarriage, and looking forward to getting out there. But I just don't want to risk any of my airplanes. I'm still having dizziness, and I mean, I've had to hang on to things sometimes to keep from falling. So that's no way to even consider flying a plane, right? And I'm for real. I mean, I was in the shower today, and I was looking up too long, and I fell. Thank God there was a bar there to hang on to. So hopefully this will pass. It's just extremely frustrating. I wish I could be sharing with you about flying, but I have not flown. I have another message from Colin McCallum. He says, when I had vertigo, I used the E-play maneuver. Not sure what that is. I had to do it like 5 times, but it worked. You need to let me know what that is. I'm not sure what that is. Yeah, I do not know what that is. But if it works, I look forward to it. Yeah, this is this too shall pass, right? I mean, that's what I'm believing and hoping. I'm just I think it's gotten a little bit better, but the little improvement is so slight, and I'm just not sure if I'm just clinging on to a hope. I don't know. But yeah, it's kind of messed up. But you know what? I'm gonna start doing some more building. I'm gonna continue to work on my SV11. This is the fuselage that I'm actually reverse engineering. This is a electric ARF. You can see it's for electric motor. And there's no plans for this. There's no kit for this. I don't think there's any more ARFs left. They're all gone. So I had ordered another one, and this is that one. So I'm just basically looking at it and gonna do reverse engineering. That's why I've cut some holes so I can see how it's put together. This part comes off, and I get a little bit more view of the tail section of it. Um, so you can see down inside there a little bit. So, and that's basically what I'm doing is just seeing how it is built. But I haven't worked on this in a couple days. Now I'm at the point where I pretty much have I need to work on making a kit, and not quite there. I need to also select some wood. Need to see if I can find some wood that will be suitable. And let me show you how the battery compartment is. That's yeah. I mean, you probably can't see it too well, but that's what I've been up to. That's and there's another part that goes on top. I'm probably not going to do this exactly the same as this with this part. I think this was just for ease of assembly. I might not do it like that, but I might. Who knows? I'm probably going to need to document it so that I can prove that I made it. But that's what I have going on as far as a new plane. I really like the SV11. The other plane I want to build after I finish this SV11 is I'm looking at for a classic ship. Because I want most of the classic planes are a lot smaller, and so I'm actually looking at building a Hawker Hunter, which is a modified Shark 45. So it's classic legal. And hey, Mark Wise, thanks for coming in. How
Hey,
you doing?
just you and me?
Yeah.
Finally, a good meeting.
Yes. I
How you doing,
agree.
buddy?
I'm doing well, with the exception of the vertigo.
Oh, you still got it?
Still got it. Yeah.
Have you
I was
seen a
talking.
doc?
I saw a doctor last week, and he thought it was a virus. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I might need to go see another doctor. I don't know.
When you're experiencing it, can you fly level laps, or does that whole movement bother you?
You know what? I think I can fly level laps. I can, as long as I look straight ahead and to the side a little bit, I'm fine. It's when I
Right.
look up and I look down that I that I
Okay.
that I actually fall.
Yeah. Did you read Tom Dixon's article in Stunt News?
Which one?
The latest.
No, I haven't read that one. No, no.
Yeah, he has a three-quarter page about vertigo.
Oh, fantastic! Yeah, I have it
Yeah.
right here. Let me see here.
It's a quick read, and Tom's a good writer. That's the one.
Okay, yeah, I'll
Yeah.
look at it. Thank you.
No problem.
I know I just scanned it, but I didn't. Yeah, wing overs and vertigo. Yeah, I have to check it out. See if he has any helpful information. That'd be great.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think he talks about the way he deals with it rather than solving it.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah. I went swimming today. I thought that maybe going for a swim
Oh,
and maybe going in this steam room
yeah,
would help.
yeah.
Um, it was interesting doing the backstroke. I tell you that much. Looking
Oh,
out
I
straight
bet.
up, man. But I'm right in the water and I kind of float.
Right,
So I felt like I was gonna fall. I just
right.
kept going. You know, and I was just hoping that the water getting in my ears and maybe my nose, sinuses, it might help. But
Yeah, we better stop talking about Ed.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Hey Ed, how
man.
you doing?
Doing great. Yeah, can't complain. Busy year. Everything's going pretty good, and that still cleaning shop
There you go.
and getting ready. So that way, when I have an inspection in about another week, it looks
That's right.
decent.
I'm bringing my white gloves. Hi, Steve.
Going on? How are you guys tonight?
Doing well, doing
We're
well. How
good.
you doing, Steve?
Uh, uh, okay, I'm a little struck by lightning in the face right now, but I'll get over it. I'm okay. I'm sitting here at my mom's house with her, and the lady that owned the house where she stays at passed away last year, a few months ago, and has left it behind to the daughter. And now the daughter owns the house, and I guess the daughter's going to sell the house. So
Oh, I
it kind of
understand.
leaves.
Yeah,
It just makes
that's a
it
difficult
just makes life
situation.
joyful, you know?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
understand. That
it's
is
a
a
wonderful.
challenge. That yeah, I
Yeah,
you
it's
will.
not something that needs to be going down.
Yeah, I'm sorry
It
about that, buddy.
it's
So
yeah, I
sorry.
appreciate it, man. Yeah, just
So
makes me want to get sick, you know.
yeah. Well, I'm glad you came in. Maybe we can at least take your mind off it momentarily. A little bit reprieve
Yeah, that's why I
from
jumped.
real life.
That's why I
Oh, good.
jumped in. Yeah.
So have you been doing any building or been doing any flying since last
Nah,
time we met?
been working on a little ringmaster that's already. It's just basically ready for paint, and I'm gonna pick up a tank mount for it tomorrow at the meeting, at the night's meeting for the monthly meeting. Warren Walker is going to bring me a vintage performance tank mount. I don't know if you've
Okay.
seen it, but I guess they bolt on the side of the profile fuselage, and then they're set up to where you can zip tie the fuel tank to them, and you can elevate them, raise them up and down real
Yeah,
simply, real easily. And
right.
it's set up with a Fox 35 in it. So, it was already drilled and blind nutted and everything. And basically all I did was just put a control on it and set it up, and I crimped the lead outs and paint. That's about it.
Sounds
Simple.
good. Sounds good.
Charles,
Yeah.
I saw an amusing post yesterday.
Yeah.
I had been looking for rolls of ultra code, so I decided to look at the Facebook marketplace where I've sold and bought some camera stuff. And there's an ad on there. It's funny because I mentioned it last meeting. There's a guy who has a picture of that thimble drone handle,
Right.
okay, with the two lead outs coming out, and somehow tangled in there is the kind of pump that you would take the cap off a small, maybe a pint of fuel, and you screw the cap on and you knock the top down. They were
Yeah.
tangled up. So he said this was from his dad. He has no idea what they are, but he's selling them. And he said it's like one piece. So I just had a laugh. It was like me finding bones from the dinosaurs and not knowing what they are. And I just had a laugh. It was just,
Yeah, it's funny.
he didn't know. He didn't
Yeah,
know.
not everyone knows this stuff we do.
No.
It looks strange.
Yeah.
I have another message from Colin McCallum. He says, lots of videos on YouTube. I know you're going through. Yeah, yeah. And then Gary Sinclair, who's a member of our YouTube channel, he like provided, and he's here right now. He's also a
He
monitor
is.
of
And
our
a
of
thank
our
you.
yes, he's
And a thank you
done a
for the
great job
calendar.
for the calendar. Have you
He does
received your
beautiful
calendar?
work. Yep.
Did you receive your calendar, Ed?
Yes, I did. And
Yeah. What did you think? What did you think of it?
it's amazing. And I got something coming your way, Gary,
Well,
and stuff.
thank you.
Fantastic. That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's nice.
Hey, Steve, I'm sorry. We probably have not included you in the calendar. Are you familiar with the calendar we're talking about, Steve?
Pictures of it last week, but I don't know anything about it.
Yeah, you're probably not on the mailing
Is it
list,
a-
unfortunately. But yeah, it's a calendar, and we have pictures for every month of the year. Oh, we lost Steve. He probably come back. Oh, here he's making his way
Yeah.
back now. So I'm glad you're back, Stephen.
Yeah, I lost the signal. I'm sorry I didn't hear what you were saying. Is that something to do with Pampa? Because I need to figure out how to send in the membership for Pampa and join up there because I haven't had. I've been meaning to do that for about a month or two, or I think the last year. I think Mr. Walker offered that to me up last year, and I still haven't signed up for it yet.
Hey, Stephen,
Yes.
if you get on your computer,
Mm-hmm.
probably do it on your phone, I'm not sure, but the computer's easier, and go to
Yeah.
www.pampacl, as in control line, .org.
Yeah. Pampa CL.
Yes, .org.
Okay.
And it'll open you up, and there's a space
Okay.
there for you membership.
Pay your dues. Okay. Wonderful. Thank you.
Yeah,
All he needs
makes it real
All he
easy.
needs a credit card. If your credit card isn't good, ask Ed Watsky.
Yeah. Yeah, I got one I can pick from, bogus one.
But that'd be great if you do, Stephen. We'd appreciate it.
Yeah. Right. Right. Yeah. And then I think you had mentioned something about joining, and then yesterday or the other day at the meeting on Friday, I think about the judging and stuff too. You guys needing help judging and stuff at the contest, right?
Absolutely. We got a great program coming on the judging side. Are you guys familiar with I'll never remember his first name. I think his first name may be Andre, something like that. He's a very bright guy. And he's the one, Charles, you've probably seen this, who is smart enough that he knows how to set up cameras around a circle.
Yeah.
And with computer enhancement, he can not only watch your flight, but he can superimpose what each maneuver should look like as opposed to your flying right through it.
Yeah.
And it's a remarkable tool.
Wow.
Because most people see it and think, gee, I thought I was better than that. But at least it shows you what maybe a judge is looking at. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I've seen
That's part of our new training program for the judges, to look at some of these maneuvers, give it a score, and then for, a senior judge to be with them and to say, look, here's what I saw. And, let's get this thing more consistent. Here's what you're looking for. And someone brought up a great point, particularly about local contests. I'm familiar with one where a good advanced or a good expert flyer is receiving like 580, 590. Now, that's an awfully high score. But the reason is that these judges have never seen a really good maneuver. They've seen the best that the local is doing. So if they saw a Joe Daly or
and I
David
can't
or
get
one of
my
those
ears,
guys,
and I can't get.
they'd be blown away. So we're trying to standardize it, and we're trying to make contests like the Nats to be for experienced judges only. Okay, and they have to go through a school, and one thing we're going to do is work on the culture being, you're not second class if you're a judge. That's what you've chosen to do. It's not easy to do. You're just as important as anyone else at any contest.
Oh, yeah.
And we're going to treat you accordingly, maybe with a shirt, maybe a special judge's hat with a Pampa, approved designation on it. So we're working on that. We're working on standardizing scoring. You can't get everyone to do exactly the same, but if everyone knows what to look for, then your chances of being consistent are good. And, it dawned on me maybe a year ago or so that we spend so much time practicing and trimming and setting up contests for flyers that we really don't pay attention to the other side. We ask for volunteers, whether they've done it or not, and we're thrilled when we can get them. But that's really not what we want. If you have good flyers and you want good judges, it's really that simple. You don't want to lose to the judge. You just want to lose to a better flyer.
I agree.
Right?
Absolutely.
And if
Absolutely.
the judge should not be determining the winners and losers. The pilot should, the flying. And all
Right.
the judges do is recording their maneuvers.
Right.
So we're paying a lot of attention to that, and I think it's very worthwhile. And we have a great committee of people working on it. So a lot of good things going on in Pampa.
That is really good to hear. That is
Yeah.
really good to hear.
Yeah.
Yeah. It does happen at some contests. You're like going, you have like one judge will give you one score, the other judge is off by, quite a bit, and it
Could be
adds up
100.
over
Could be-
15 maneuvers.
Yeah.
That's could be quite substantial
Absolutely.
difference. I had one instance when I had like a 100-point differential between
Yep.
all the, you add up all the scores.
Yep.
And I was just like, wow, what
Yeah.
did this judge see that the other judge didn't see, or vice versa?
Yep. And I
So-
think some of the district directors want us to have a committee to ensure that they replace me as soon as possible. So, that'll be another committee. That was a joke. I hope it's a joke. I don't know.
Very good. Very
Yeah.
good. Funny.
Yeah.
Hey, Philip Bailey, we see you, and I know you're frustrated about something, but I don't know what you're frustrated about. Your mic's muted, by the way.
There he is.
Well, there he is. There it is. I'm trying to get it on my earpods, and I'm having a little problem with it, but I'm working on it. I'll get it.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. Well, I'll let you work on that, and I'll come back to you. Let me get to Stuart. Hey, Stuart, how's it going?
Good. Yep.
Good,
All right.
good to see
How's
you.
everybody?
I'm
So,
doing the same as I said last Friday with the vertigo
uh-oh.
thing. Yeah, still hanging on there.
Have you ever, I don't know if this would help you out, but because I've had allergies all my life. Have you ever tried something like Reactin to dry your sinuses up?
No, one thing I've been doing is been drinking distilled water with lemon juice and herbal teas.
It was in your sinus, wasn't it?
Yeah.
You should try something like that. For me it really works. It can actually it dries up your sinus, the problem, the drip.
Okay. I try not to do too many medications, but I probably might succumb to doing something over the counter, or
Yeah.
something. Yeah.
What's-
I don't work for you, but
You need to
Maybe.
find a Chinese drugstore. They'll
there
fix
you
you up.
go.
Get you some of that.
Okay.
You know what,
Maybe.
Charles? You know what works really well?
What's that?
Not to be a wise guy, but I whenever I have an ailment or a nasal congestion or anything like that, or a sore throat, drink some hot tea, man.
Yeah, I've been doing hot tea and
Yeah.
distilled water and lemon juice, and
Yeah, just keep drinking the hot tea. Don't stop. Drink it all day.
all right, well, I'll hit it harder.
Or
Yeah.
Charles,
Yeah.
you could try for last resort WD-40.
Yeah.
Squirt, squirt.
You want to
It works
get
for anything else.
you want to get your lungs cleaned out, use green tea, because green tea is a natural it's
Yeah.
a natural lung decongester, I guess I was reading.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
I'll look
We
into
call WD-40 aerosol geritol. in our business.
By the
that.
way,
Very good. Very
do you
good.
know what the
I figure
prime,
Mark would know that one.
no, did you know what the prime ingredient is in that?
No.
I do.
What is it?
I remember hearing it because they developed it for the space program.
Fish oil.
fish
Oh,
oil?
fish oil, really?
Yes. Yes.
No
Interesting.
kidding.
Wow,
Huh.
interesting.
That's
Very
hard to
I
interesting.
know what WD-40 stands for. Seriously.
But
Water
water
displacement.
displacement 40.
Yeah.
And what I was always told it was for, it was done. I understand it was done for the space industry, but it was also done, it was pushed on the automotive industry very heavily, because if you remember back in the 50s and 60s, Chevrolets primarily, I hate to knock on Chevy, but anyway, on the side of your distributor, you had this little cat thing that you could pull up and you could stick a meter in there, a wrench in there, and change the dwell on your points.
Okay.
Remember?
Yeah.
All right. The problem was when it would get real wet, that would allow moisture in the distributor cap and the car wouldn't run because it shorted itself out. Well, you spray a little WD-40 in there, water displacement 40. It was our 40th attempt. And you take it, spray it in the distributor cap, wipe it out with a rag, put the thing back together and drive home. Crank right up and drive home.
Yep.
But it was also used, I understand it was also used in the space industry, but my understanding was the primary flux of making the stuff was for the automotive industry. But anyway, whatever. I mean,
Pretty good stuff.
It's been used everywhere. They use it on airplanes too, because guess what? They got ignition systems and they used to have points.
Yeah.
But anyway,
let me welcome David Hull. Hey, David, how you doing? Thanks for coming in, McSlow.
Charles.
Good to see you. Thanks for coming in. I appreciate it.
Yeah,
Been
see
a
what
long
you guys are
time.
up to.
Say again?
See what you guys are up to in this new
Yeah.
year.
Well, I want to know what you've been up to. What you been up to?
Oh boy, trying to repair things. Try
All
not
right.
to hit the ground, and then trying to repair what's maybe hit the ground before.
I like the way he says it. He says hit the ground, not crashed.
Yeah, there's can't afford crashing. That's no
We
good.
don't crash. We just prove that
It bounce them off
Gravity
the
sucks.
ground.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
latest
but-
little project is a new tail for the PT-19 Twister. That plane always hunted real bad, and I was never able to solve that problem by any trimming techniques.
Yeah.
After the silk peeled off of the wing on my other plane here a month or so ago, I said, maybe I better fix it because it's already, this other one's already painted. I could just put a new tail on. It'd be quicker. So we'll see.
You talking about
Does that
Twister
plane hunt?
hunting?
Does it hunt both upright and inverted, or does it hunt more one way than the other?
My recollection, I haven't flown it in a couple years now, but
Okay.
I think the last time I flew it was at the Compton Airfair. But I think it hunts upside down, right side up.
Okay.
You know,
How are the controls on that aircraft? Are they super tight or do they have a little play in them?
Yes,
Yeah. Yes.
I've tried both ways. My normal build sequence would be, as long as it's smoothly operating, in other words, very free, have
Yeah.
it as tight as possible.
Right.
But I've been looking at it here this past week, and as I tried to resuscitate it,
Yeah.
I noticed that I had egregiously bored out the holes, no doubt because of all the help that I get at the field,
Uh-huh.
so that I could have at least 5 inches of flap in the elevator without the flaps ever moving.
There you go.
So,
So you got plenty of flutter then. It's not flutter it's not the stiff controls that are holding you up.
yeah, I fiddled with a number of things with the controls. For example, the plane isn't really light. I think it's around 48 ounces total with a LA-46 and muffler.
Yeah.
The wings is a little bit extended over the stock Twister. So it should carry that, but it just hunts. So I think that the setup in the tail just isn't quite right. And I'm trying to run a little bit aft CG and
Yeah.
just never been quite right. So that's
Go
the
ahead, Phil.
experiment for the week.
When you get back on that plane, check a couple of things. Get your wing at 0, 0. If you have some instance meters, and I know my buddy Bob don't believe in instance meters, but I do. Use the instance meter and get that thing set where it's 0, 0. The wing's straight, and then check your motor. you can have a little down in that motor and everything, it makes it fly a little better. But if it's got any up in it, you're in trouble. And the elevator should be just the opposite. It should have a little bit of up. The whole tail plane. I'll do it so people can understand it. The entire tail plane, elevator back here. The front of the stab should be up just I'm talking a 32nd of an inch.
Yeah.
Higher than well, anyway, should be up a little bit. The motor should be down just a little bit. In both cases, like a 32nd. And that thing will groove like a lovesick hummingbird. But if either one of them's off just a little bit, a twister so short couple to start with, it will hunt. Oh man, it'll hunt. Good grief.
Yeah, I've gone through pretty much, like I said, I think I hung this plane on the wall probably 4 or 5 years ago now. But
another question. How much bigger is your wing than stock?
I think I've got about 3 inches. I'd have to go measure, but about 3 inches more per side. So the aspect ratio went up, which can really make it prone to control, like power steering problems. But
well, you could have not enough elevator. I don't think that's it, but it could be.
Yeah, the tail. I remember that the wood that was used was from the stock kit, but I extended the tip slightly, and because I tried to make it, more scale like.
Yeah.
I extended the tips with let's call it a chordwise grain piece on each tip, and those are fixed tips, right? So it's like the elevator is inset around the tip. If this is the outside of the surface, and here's the elevator. So there's probably, I don't know, 3/4 of an inch or something like that added per side. So it still isn't a huge tail volume, but it also does have the extended fuselage. So
yeah,
it's
that's what I did on Stinger. Between it's 17 3/8 tail moment, and I can't remember what the nose moment is, but I think a nose moment stock. I'm gonna get it down in the next week and check it, because I'm getting ready to build a new one. Everybody keeps talking about bring back the Stinger, bring back the Stinger. That thing's 40 years old. It's gonna stay on the wall. I'm gonna build a new one. But I don't know. I'd be interested in, when you find out what's causing it, I'd be interested in finding out, because my new one's gonna be electric, but the old one's FP40, and I don't think there's a better trainer out there. Those are fantastic airplanes. You can even a dumb thumb like me can extend this and cut that and come up with it. I just wanted to round it out a little bit, and in mine always hunted, so I figured a little bit longer fuselage would help straighten that out. Well, I just hit on some numbers. I mean, it was my very first thing I redesigned. It wasn't, I can't say designed because I didn't design that wing, but I changed the whole top deck. The canopy's different. All that stuff's different. It's got big long landing gear on it so that it'll sponge when it lands, but that plane flew better than anything I had to date, including my Nobler. It really honestly flew better than my Nobler. And that's what I learned to do. That's what I learned to do the full pattern on and put them together and get decent. That's what I took to my first 3 contests, and did pretty well in all 3 of them. So
I was kind of good memories.
Yeah, it built me a lot of memories. My wife came up with a paint scheme. She said, "Why don't you put yellow, orange, and black?" And at the time, I was looking at Ted Fancer's, one of Ted's designs. Early Trivial Pursuit, but he didn't call it Trivial Pursuit until he repainted it and took it to the Nationals. I can't remember what he called it, Imitation or something. But she said, "Why don't you do that paint scheme basically in those 3 colors, basically yellow, but with orange and black trim?" Oh, orange and black. Yeah. So anyway, I did it. I've gotten more comments on that airplane than any plane I've ever built. So I've ever designed.
Show us a picture of it.
I'll do better than that. I'm gonna get it out and measure it and wipe about 3 inches of dust off of it. I'll try to show it next week.
That'd be very nice. That'd be
it's
good.
The first one that I designed or redesigned, however you want to say it. And it's still one of my favorites. The guys want me to bring it out and fly it, or Tom wants me to bring it out and fly it. And I told him, you realize that monocoque's 40 years old. Remember what happened when I tried to fly my old sailplane? monocoque burst at the top when it, as soon as it came off the toe, we heard a loud pop. I thought the spar had broken. Monocoque shattered in about 6 spots.
Wow.
Got it back down in one piece, but wow, that was scary.
Yeah.
Most of it on one wing. That's what really made it scary.
Hey, Phil,
Yes, sir.
I don't remember us talking about hunting until electrics came on the scene.
Really?
Oh gosh, no, this was
I know.
Fox 35. In this thing.
Well, yeah, hunting's been. I've had other planes that hunted, and
Yeah.
With glow motors?
yeah, with glow
Oh
motors.
yes, sir.
Really?
Yeah, it's
Okay.
either-
Yeah,
was
Stinger's a
either-
glow motor. Stinger,
it's
the
either-
original Stinger is a glow motor,
Okay.
and
a
it's
lot of times it was binding in a control system, or it could be a control surface rubbing, different things like that. And then sometimes it was just
something's out of
in
alignment.
my case, it would hunt one way worse than the other, and that kind of led me to where the problem was.
Right.
Yeah.
Sometimes, but yeah,
If you
we've been
want
having it for a
if you
while.
want an easy way to hook up a control system, though, start out with your flaps not tight. Don't want any resistance in it, but your flaps where they're pretty well, you move the bell crank, it moves with it, but it just stays with no slop. But then at your elevator, go one drill size bigger than what it needs to be. One, not 2 or 3, one.
Mhm.
You got just a little bit of slop. You'll feel it just barely move back there. And try that. My impact it's one brass tubing size bigger than what's supposed to be. So I can run it with a little shim in there, a little piece of brass tube in there, and everything's, it's dead flat. And then you take that out and it has a little bit of slop. Strangely enough, with the impact, it flies better or flew better. I've only flown once with the slop in it.
Yeah,
But
I've heard that.
Yeah,
Is that the
Winnie
impact
Nelson was a
on
big proponent of that.
Well, if you think about it, the reason that it does that, like I was trying to get at, if the controls are too tight and there's no flutter in there, if you have one that's opposed to the other one, then they're going to fight one another. The flaps is going to fight the elevator. So if you have the flaps pointed up and the elevator pointed down, then the airplane's going to continuously be hunting to go up or down to find neutral, because the elevator and the flaps can't remain neutral as the airplane flies. So what he suggested is the oversized hole in the back so the elevator can straighten itself out and level off with the trailing edge of the flap. Now that's allowing a little bit of flutter in the elevator so that it can level off and it's not chasing itself. It's not going up and down, and you're not fighting it either, trying to find neutral.
Well, I understand what you're saying, but I have so little slop in mine. It's at best it's a vibration. It's not a. I've seen one of the guys that used to fly with us had probably a quarter of an inch of slop in his. Yeah, and that thing, I don't know how he flew it. I tried to fly it one time.
That's too much. That's too much. But like what you're
Way
suggesting,
too much.
Yeah, but what you're suggesting is correct, because that way the controls are not fighting each other. They're not fighting one another.
Yeah,
and if they fight one another,
mine flew a lot better without it, but I had used some paint on it that wasn't fuel proof. I'm just going to leave it at that. So it's about 2/3 sanded down. I'm going to repaint it. I'm going to put it back with water-based paint, but I'm going to put it on there and then put some clear over top of it, probably automotive clear over top of it this time.
That'll work.
It is an old school impact. It's a 15-year-old impact, and it's older than that. No, it's 30 years old. I built that in the impact.
Jeez, it is.
But anyway, it's an old impact with a 40 VF in it, and it's not light, but the darn thing flies great.
Does it
It
have
likes
a
a
thinner
5.1
elevator than
lap time, which
stabilizer?
is a little quick for me, but it flew great.
Very nice.
go ahead and say it again, David. He might not have heard you.
Now, on that impact, does it have a thinner elevator than stabilizer?
I don't know. I'd have to go look at it, but I think I can take that off and show you. It's a take apart. I think it starts out about the same size, but then it dives down to a thin little tip on it. That was before I learned about making the surfaces flat at the back end to add drag in the dives. But I don't know. I'll find out. It's just off the plans. The only thing modified on that airplane is the cowling. I made my dog wants to go out and he's driving me crazy. It's got cheeks on it that's not on the stock one. And the what else did I modify? There's something else. Oh, everyone I saw up to that time, I got to remember this 30 years ago when he just come out with the Impact. Paul was still flying it with a FP40 in it, or LA VF 40 VF in it, which is why I bought 40 VFs. To me, it always looked like it was dragging its back end. So I took 1/4 of an inch out of it at the rudder, and it ends at the pipe tunnel. It's nothing at the pipe tunnel, pie shaped. And I just cut that out and put it back together, and then I put a little line around it. And I saw Paul's at the Nationals that year, and he'd been playing with a trick on his flaps. And he printed on that thing lessons learned. So I did the same thing, but it's on the back of my fuselage. And I told Paul about it, and he says, hadn't thought about that, but that's like a Mark III. So I never put Mark III on it. But anyway, Paul made a whole series of those things. It was not one airplane. He's developed that thing. Well, I mean, look what he flew this year, the Anteater. It's an Impact. He keeps developing that airplane. But the old dog series that our little buddy flies is no dog. I watched that thing fly to Nats, and I was terribly impressed. Howard is a much better pilot than he lets on.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't know how he don't score better than he does.
Well, he's up against some big dogs.
Oh, he done that now. If you were at the Nats this year, I would hate to have been a judge. I do not envy Paul. I mean, Tom Dixon and I've forgotten who all the judges out there, but I'm telling you, those guys, several of them were really, really flying good.
Yeah, I mean,
Orestes
has
the hardest corners I've ever seen. But David Fitzgerald, man, he's just got the whole package. He's amazing.
Let me welcome Jonathan Carradas. Did he freeze?
I don't
think
see
he
him.
froze. Yeah, he must have a poor connection or bandwidth issue. That's too bad. And then we have John Miller be hooking up with us shortly. And
screen's freezing. It's going black. I got no juice. I'll play it myself and I'll be back.
All right, thank you, Jonathan.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Let
me catch up on the chat box. I have a few issues on the chat box. Let me catch up. So I have an old control line pilot who's a member of our YouTube channel. That's Bob Whitley up in Canada. He says, "Hi all, like given, shutting down early tonight. A bit run down from being out in the cold temps that we're finally getting minus 40 degrees by week's end." Yeah, I bet you are.
Minus 40.
Yeah.
I'm glad he's getting it.
That's pretty cold.
I'm cold at 40. He's cold at minus 40.
I know, I can't imagine. And then Philip Bailey gave us a like. Thank you, Philip. And then John Skukulak, who's a member of our YouTube channel, he gave us a like. Thank you, John. Hey, John, if you could respond to Gary Sinclair's, he sent you a message inside the Stunt Hangar forum. He wants to get your address to send you a calendar, our Stunt Hangar video calendar we do every year. So if we go into Stunt Hangar, John, and respond to Gary. And let me see. And then we have Doyle Bevlins. He says, "Happy New Year." Well, thank you, Doyle. Thanks for coming in. I think it's your first time coming in. Appreciate you. And then John Miller is still making his way in here, so he might be having computer problems.
Yeah, I got one thing I was going to show you for my man cave here.
All right, cool.
Charles.
Let me make it big here. Oh, very nice.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
All right, I was with the 18th Tech Fighter Wing, and so I had this made, and that's going to be going up on the wall behind me here.
Wow,
Nice.
Very nice. Very, very nice.
As if you didn't have us already jealous enough.
Wow, that is nice.
That is nice.
Is that a piece of a wing, actually?
My buddy does the experimental Vans aircraft over in the Philippines. He builds the quick build kits.
Okay.
Whenever there's scrap, he turns scrap into aviation art.
Very nice.
Nice.
That's awesome. That's
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, I got one more.
Very nice.
The Rams is nice. That's a whole series.
And here's
but
the
that's a nice
P-51.
airplane. Oh,
Wow.
that's neat.
That's awesome. Wow.
Wow.
Wow, that is
That's
some
nice.
neat art.
That is cool.
Bill's hangar in Apopka, Florida, is completely surrounded with all those nose arts.
That's great.
That's
That's
cool.
Very,
cool.
very nice.
Very
Very
cool.
nice.
Thank you.
Hey, Ed, you may want to take inventory before I leave.
Me too.
Too big.
Okay.
Very good. I think Stuart has something to say. Hey, Stuart, go ahead.
No, nothing offhand. I'm just kind of laughing here.
All right. So
That's
how's your
cool.
shop coming along? Is your
Good. Well, I
Very
can show you. I can show you. Let me just see here.
and your Nobler ARF? I saw you working on that Friday.
Yeah, I haven't gotten too much more done on that. I'm gonna see if I can share this. Oops, maybe not.
Is it a picture on your computer or what is it?
Yeah, it's a picture.
All right, you gotta bring it up first. And then go down to the bottom of the gallery and hit the share button. And then you have to reselect it again.
Oh, okay. You go ahead.
All right. And let me see here. And then John Skukulak says, thanks, Gary.
Okay, thank you. Yeah. All right.
Did
And
good,
John
Gary.
Skukulak, again, is a member of our YouTube channel. So he's one of our members who supporting us. We appreciate that. Dennis Adamison, Gary Sinclair. Those are all the members. Hey, look at this. Who
These
we
are,
looking at?
Future members of the Dresden Beanfield.
Oh, very cool.
We were busy building these.
Oh, that is so
Very
awesome.
Those are my grandsons.
Oh, they're
Oh,
cute.
that is great.
That's
They're
great.
5 years old. They're twins.
Beautiful.
Oh,
Beautiful.
Oh, that's our
Very
future
neat.
there. We need that.
That's the
Oh,
most
yeah.
beautiful thing in the whole wide world right there. That just made the evening.
Yeah, I think Grandpa needs to make some twin engines for twins.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
That is so cool, man.
That's
I
awesome.
get them started on it. So we kind of on the weekend they came over for an hour and we sanded some wings. So they got
Oh,
started.
that
Very
is so cool,
Very
man.
neat.
Man, that's real cool. That's awesome.
That
Hey, you know,
is-
Ed, I can't.
Stuart, we have a new series of Pampa tattoos.
Tattoos. I'm gonna pass on that.
Talk to their mother.
Yeah. Ed, I can't wait till we come back to you up your way. It's warm that time of year. This cold, wet stuff is getting the best of me. Whew.
Thank you very much. You got some more pictures there, Stuart?
No, that's it. That's it.
Okay.
That's nice. That is really neat.
Just go up to the top and you can do stop share. You should see a stop share somewhere.
Oh yeah, okay. Yeah, I couldn't figure out how to clear
No
it.
problem. No problem.
So you're brave
at all.
enough to try that. I'm not. I'd get stuck.
Well, we all have to go through a learning curve on it. It's not the easiest
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't ask you, Mark. You been doing any flying, Mark, or building? I know you been meaning to drill down on one or two of your airplanes.
Yeah, you know, I'm working on the my old Pathfinder. I got the wing very clean, got all the ultra coat off, got the stab done. Now I'm just picking out some wood for the fuselage. Because I really want to get this done as quick as I can, as long as it's straight, and then finish up the impact.
Okay.
So that's what I'm planning to do. Plus, it's gotten to be winter, so that's a good time to build.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, I'm doing good. I just got over COVID, so I feel like a human being again.
Sounds like it.
I'm glad. Glad to hear that.
Yeah,
Sorry to hear that. I hope you're all right.
I am. It's all gone.
Very good. Very good. So Philip, I didn't ask you, have you been doing any flying, Philip?
No, it's been cold and raining here. We just been trying to do a little building. I'm just trying to neaten up shop where I can do some building. I had so
Yeah.
much crap packed in there. It was just, let's get everything out of there and throwing stuff away. I had a fellow taking up a bunch of my basement for the last 2 years, and I had finally had to tell him if it's not out by first of the years, it's got to go somewhere. So it's going out.
Good
So
for
we're
you,
getting
man.
rid of it.
Good
Getting
for
rid
you.
of it. Yeah, I'm reclaiming my basement.
Good
My
for you.
wife's
That's
convertible is going in the basement where it should be.
good for you, man. It's not easy, but sometimes you gotta just have a hard
Yeah,
stop and just say this is it.
yeah, it's what I ran up against. Good friend, but I feel like
Yeah,
I'm really being
that's what
taken
makes it very
advantage of.
hard. That makes it even more difficult.
Yeah,
But you need
yeah,
your
it's been a
space
sticker.
to build, you know?
Well, I just need to get her car in the basement. It's a convertible, little red convertible, and it really needs to be inside.
Yeah, it
And
does. Absolutely.
so we're working on it now.
Go ahead, Stuart.
Yeah, I was going to ask Mark. Was it Oshkosh you did where you put kids on the handle?
I didn't do it at Oshkosh, but they do it there every year. I do it with a couple other guys on a triple tree in South Carolina.
Okay, so just out of curiosity, like, after doing that, how many would you get that would stick with it?
You know, it's hard to say because a lot of people don't return.
That's what I was
So
wondering.
you're not sure. Really the biggest problem is before they leave, you need to find out where they live and connect them with someone, either by email or phone. Otherwise, it'll die.
Okay.
Yeah.
Have you been able to do that process then, or is it something for the future more?
No, we've kind of started it. When we first got the triple tree, we didn't have a contest. We didn't have stunt camp. It was really meant for the people who came to triple tree who were either pilots or spectators. Now, technically, triple tree doesn't allow spectators, but if you are a spouse of a pilot or a child of a pilot, of course you can come. And it was a guess, and we got this ring rat, a little electric 1350 2-cell pack. And first year, I think we had like 290 flyers. And the second year, we had 612.
Wow.
And that's an enormous number. It's exhausting.
Oh,
But
yeah.
but that's where the problem came up. And then the third year, what I did was I gave everyone a sheet of paper with everything that was in the package that we were flying, where to get it, what the price was. But still, a big piece of it missing was once they have it, what do they do?
Right.
Where do they fly? Who do they call?
Yep.
Then when Pampa came along, it's starting to narrow down a little bit where I can find the local district director.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But that is the key. Otherwise, they have a great time. And, and we take a lot of pictures and they have a great memory, but they're gone.
Yeah.
And that's very common. I know guys, Scott Richland is one who's done a tremendous amount of schoolwork, getting kids to fly even hand-launched gliders and moving them up toward control line. And these are kids he'd see every week who live nearby. But the percentage of those that stuck was very low because as they got older, they discovered girls, sports.
Didn't you do that?
I discovered sports. The girls didn't discover me. But I did. So it's Stuart. I hope no one takes this the wrong way, whether you're watching or listening. I'm pretty convinced that when I sit down with guys who are in this hobby, the great majority of them, I would call them just like me. They're nerds. They are. They're guys that are interested in being creative. They may not be the quarterback on the football team or the most popular guy in the school, but they have their own set of talents that are much more private. And I want to do this one year. Maybe Ed can help me. I want to go to a high school or maybe a junior high school or a middle school. Maybe that's the better age. And talk to the principal and some guidance counselors and tell them who I'm looking for.
Yeah.
I'm looking for the least popular people you got in this school that are good kids.
Yeah. And I just did that with the high school that wanted to start an aviation program. And so the whole idea is to get it formed, showing them once again how model aviation can turn into the jobs in the future and stuff. So the ball's starting to roll with people getting the idea. So I got another meeting in another couple of weeks with some to see. But yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah.
And it was funny what you just said on our Zoom meeting with my RC club and control line club. Now it's both. That was exactly mentioned in regards to the type of person that will do that. So yeah, I can I know where you're coming from. And the one kid that got the science teacher that I fly with her husband to bring him to my company. You know, this was some kid that is not the best student, but he was very interested. And she gave him all a spill in regards to, you guys got to look professional and all that stuff. And this kid went out and bought a new pair of shoes, and was one of the two leading the way, coming and getting this going. So it's just amazing.
Yeah. Stuart,
But,
I think to do this right, if you're going to go after kids, which is, you know, ideally the right person, but in practicality, it's the hardest one. They don't have their own transportation. They don't have money.
right.
Whatever they're going to get is through their parents, and if their parents are supporting them. And I've been just more clubs that I've been president of where you get kids involved, but the parents treat it like we're babysitting. They don't stay while the kid's flying. They don't have the buy-in. And it's very frustrating.
Yeah.
And you know, where the parents involved, I can't tell you how many people I know in this hobby, and the control line particularly, because of their dad.
Right.
Someone in that family.
And that's me.
Right?
Yep.
Yeah. And I'm also looking at, like you say, the dad, the grandfather, but I'm trying to get the one school to have multiple schools participating, like a basic control line competition or free flight, anything to get it started. And they're receptive to it.
Yeah.
And for the foam control line plane that I made, I've got enough stuff, you know, to give away for 6 aircraft and stuff. And the whole idea is each one build it, and let's get together and see what school can fly better. And once you do that, it really gets their interest, because I did that with Mark Radcliffe with the AMA FPG-9 with a middle school.
Yep.
Once we did competition, boy, we got their attention, and they were just all about it, talking about it.
Another key to this, Will and I figured out, probably Will before me, was we did this at Triple Tree first. We got a real young guy to instruct the young pilots who'd never flown before. And they had a different camaraderie than I would at my age with a 10-year-old.
Well,
and Will did it again this year at Ed's event. Was, I mean,
amazing.
Will's 2 grandkids, particularly Wesley, is older of the 2, who's still young. He flew like every flight with the other kids.
Yeah.
And they took him as, you know, if this kid can do it, maybe I can do it. And they weren't intimidated to be with him.
Right.
You know, we kind of forget that in our age group, that there's a few years between us and the young guys. You know, so there's there's an art to this.
Well,
really is. And I've said this before, and I can't figure out how to do it. But if someone said to me, how can we get the most new people into control line flying? There's no question in my mind, I'd like to tap AARP. I'm serious. Those are the age group of people who grew up with aviation on the front page.
I just,
and they show the kids.
Yes.
we just had another AMA member that passed away. That was part of Carl Hopkins' boys years later, which I just found out. It's a shame I didn't know him several years ago, but this guy just passed away, and he was part of the group that got together every week or every month to do airplanes. So
Yeah.
that's another
Oh,
thing
that's
I'm
a
looking
shame.
at.
Good.
With the
That-
Civic Center, I can do that.
Yeah, that and the female market, particularly young girls.
Yep.
You ask Will or me or Bruce or anyone else who's done a lot of the work at Triple Tree, you get 11, 12, 13-year-old young girl, that's the best student you will ever have. They're completely coachable. They don't have the ego the guys do. They're not ready to do, a figure nine. They're ready to learn. And we have the wife of a good giant scale flyer who comes every year. She sold the first year with us. And she comes back every year. Her husband's flying on a different line. She flies the ring rat, and now both of her kids have soloed.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yep.
Nice.
It's
Sabrina.
we got to get
Sweet as
back
could be.
to basics, and
Yeah.
we got to get back to doing something to get the kids and get it organized. And I'm trying to do it through the schools.
Yeah.
And luckily we've got the support here that is very interested in helping me out.
Yeah.
Which is really nice.
Yeah.
And so yeah.
So, Stuart, it's a great question. It can be done. Takes a lot of hands-on.
Yeah, I know it's my problem is I struggle with chronic fatigue. So I can't put myself out there too much. But I mean, when I was younger, I used to, because my son played hockey and my girls, I used to help coach a bit.
Yeah.
So I kind of had fun with that and I enjoyed it. Sometimes, yeah, it's like you say, it's hard to get the right person and the ones that'll have family that'll back them up.
Yeah.
But I almost wondered if it would be if guys tried to do like a building school where they actually built a control line plane, something really basic. I'm talking really basic.
Yep.
And you did that, didn't you? Or Mark?
Scott Richland and we've done that. And
Tom Ramel did that, but
Yeah.
it wasn't control line. It was an RC cadet.
yeah, but you got to stay with them.
Yeah.
Bob Hunt he's had the right answer for years. And he said, each one teach one.
Yeah.
If we could
Yeah.
find just one person a year,
Yep.
and have them, taste the Kool-Aid and go out with them a few times, and to where they can fly successfully.
Yeah.
That doubles the population.
Yeah.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, Stuart, when I was talking with everybody, I was like, if we could get one person out of this, it's a success.
It is.
And one leads to two.
I was
Yeah.
trying to hopefully there's a couple of ballparks and stuff that I'm allowed to fly in out of my hometown. There's a couple places, one in Morpeth, one in Blenheim, but I'd like to kind of do it like when the kids have their soccer on or something.
Mhm.
So I'm gonna try and I don't know, maybe I'll try to do a couple little things like that and see if there's any interest or whatever.
Yeah.
Do a
You
demo.
crank up a glow motor. You crank up a glow motor, a 9 to 12-year-old kid will be there to find out what's going on.
Oh yeah, that's all it takes is
The
a glow.
sounds, yeah, the
Um,
sounds what got me into it. Miller Park was almost a mile from my house, and I could hear the unmuffled 35s running. And I rode my bike up to see what was going on and found out it was kids that I knew that were flying. That was it, buddy. I had to have one.
And then
Yeah.
what about when you smelled the castor oil and the nitro burning? What did that do to you?
I can't say that. I can't smell. So
Oh,
I get up close to
sorry.
a nitro burning funny car, and it
Well.
smell doesn't bother me a bit. Doesn't do a
I'm
thing.
sorry. I didn't know that. I apologize.
No,
My
that's
bad.
all right. That's all right. But everybody else loves it, and I've gotten where it's gonna sound stupid. I taste the oil in the air.
Yeah. Of course you
Taste
do.
the oil, and you get to where you miss it. I never thought I'd miss castor oil, but you miss it.
Stuart
I'm
also
glad some-
Stuart also with the way it is up in Canada there, get it to where you can do it indoors at this weather, because a lot of them are looking for things to do. Now, I'm lucky to where they'll let me use the indoor turf here, I can just do some basic control line or RC flying indoors. But if you had a place there where you could do it indoors in the wintertime,
That's probably the problem, is finding a facility, because there's nothing really that's heated, or you know what I mean, where you can go in. That's I can't think of anything structure that we could use unless it was
YMCA's
pretty
basketball
cool.
courts.
Also here, the Army Reserve normally has big buildings.
Yeah, we've got something with the Army here, I think, but I'll check that out when I drive by sometime. I'll look, but I don't know if they have the buildings for it. I mean, we're kind of spread out a lot of small towns, like 5,000 each town, and Chatham's 50,000, but that's a half an hour away. So it's harder to find a place to do stuff.
Yeah. Let me welcome a few people that have came in. I know Jonathan Carradas, you had to back out, but you had bad bandwidth, so I want to give you a chance to talk. What you been up to?
Oh, not an awful lot. It's been a bit slow around here the last week. We were hoping to go flying this afternoon, but the chap I was going with, his son decided to grab the mower instead of the model, and they're doing the lawn, so that's out. And I got to take the young fellas off for a swim shortly.
Okay.
So no flying today, but just plodding along with bit of this and a bit of that. But I was
This is for you, Jonathan.
Yeah. Oh, thank you.
I'm gonna make it big here, Ed. Hang on a second.
Oh, nice.
Go ahead, Ed.
Pretty original.
Oh, they were supposed to be.
Wow.
They were supposed to be Christmas tree ornaments.
Very nice.
Turn the Ned lights
I've
on.
seen that.
Very nice.
I was interested in what Mark was saying about getting the young fellas involved. I used to when I was a chalky, I used to get the kids at school to build model little chuckies, out of foam and balsa wood, and every now and again I get tapped on the shoulder by somebody, and they'll come up to me and say, "Hey, I remember you used to teach us how to make model aircraft." And one or two of them went on to do other things, got involved with aircraft. One chap, one kid I taught, he saw me fly a little Cox-powered Airacobra, and that was it. He was sold. He joined the Air Force, his old man said, as a result of me flying that thing at school. For the kids, they all thought it was great. But I'll never forget the guy that got us into it was a chap who's not with us anymore, but he flew his Nobler at school. And, oh, God, we were about 10 years old at that stage. And what used to get us was the raw exhaust, the sound of that big stunt ship up high, doing its stuff. And that raw exhaust, man, that just turned all the kids on.
Yeah, it is a turn on, no doubt about that.
You hear them now with a muffler, and they just kind of, they're just a burble, really, compared to what that beautiful raw throat, just a raw exhaust that's just fantastic. But you do that now at a park, and you'll attract attention, all right.
You
usually
will.
by the local
Yeah,
territorial
negative
authorities.
attention. Yeah, absolutely.
Marched off the scene, But it's an interesting one. We've had guys turn up with kids, and some of them stay, the odd one goes, but usually they float away. And as Mark said, unless you can support them with somebody or something, or give them what's hard now, of course, is that it's hard to get hold of the stuff. You can't just say, well, listen, if you're keen, go down to the model shop and grab yourself a motor off the shelf and a kit set and so on. It's not like that anymore. It's just most kids just are too hard. They'd rather mess around with skateboards and computers,
Right.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
Good point.
Let me see if John Miller. I know you came in earlier, John Miller, and you had to back out as well, just like Jonathan did. How's your connection? Let me hear you say something.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah.
Oh,
Cool.
good. I
Yes.
can hear all you guys too.
So what you been up to, John?
How are you?
I'm well, and how about you guys?
Doing well, doing well.
Got the I ran into I killed one of my reindeer Christmas Eve.
Oh,
What did you do that for?
Into him with the car on the way home.
I'm sorry to hear that, but I'm glad you're okay though.
You darn fool. Yeah, I'm fine. Car's gonna cost me a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What that happened to Tom Rammel too. He hit a deer out there. He's in Minnesota, and Tom Rammel hit a deer also.
Yeah, they keep saying those things are.
They mess your car up pretty good when you run into them.
Yeah, yeah. So
Yeah, but you know, he didn't. Who's talking?
Me, I was going to ask you, been doing any building on any of your airplanes?
Me, no, but I've been working on the computer.
Okay.
I've been working on the computer, doing some design work.
All right, very cool.
And I know Phil wanted to see what I've got.
Yeah, I want to see it.
I read the Pathfinder. It's no longer Pathfinder. It's no longer Pathfinder Mark III. It's now the Trailblazer.
Trailblazer.
And there's a full body and a profile.
Are you able to share, you think, or not?
It's pretty close to Pathfinder because I'll try. The roots for Trailblazer and Pathfinder are the same, and that's because the Trailblazer has the Pathfinder as its root. Let me try to see if I can get it.
All right, and then I'll get to caffeine and then Sparky, and then I should be all caught up. And while you're doing that, let me catch up on the chat box. So John Skolak, he did reply. Okay. Did you see that, Gary? Gary, you got the address for John Sukalek?
Oh, I have to check my other computer.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So he supplied the address. Now, who else did you need address from? They might be listening.
Let's see.
Hey, John Miller, it's working.
Is it working?
It's coming up.
It says it's starting.
Oh, good. Well, Phil.
It says has started screen sharing.
Yeah,
it started.
Well, that's
I'm showing the picture.
There we go.
We're up with the Trailblazer.
Yeah.
How do we zoom this in?
Wait till you see the wing to this thing, guys.
Now,
the fuselage is gorgeous, but wait till you see the wing.
Make it bigger, but I have to do it this way.
All right, that'll work.
Oh, look at the nose. That's awesome. Wow.
Yeah, and I'm using the RC tank set up with the long side out because I want it to be able to extend out above there.
Yeah.
So it's easy to get hold of.
Nice. That's awesome. That's a very nice design. That's cool.
The fuselage is well, thank you. And this is all foam filled and then sheeted with 1/16 inch medium balsa, between 6 and 8 pound balsa.
That's nice.
And it should be real stiff.
Wow.
There's the you can see what it's got a removable tail wheel down here.
Yeah, I see that.
So and it's got a ground adjustable rudder.
John, is it white?
Set up with a 1 degree positive on this. No, it's white beaded foam, or you can use the green stuff or the pink stuff.
Okay, thank you.
So, yeah.
That's very nice.
Okay, now I'll show you the wing.
How many square inches is the wing, John?
748.
Oh, okay. She's a big
748.
bird.
It's primarily for
We
A big bird, eh?
a really strong or a yeah. I don't know how this
put
one
a
I've got to do a
51
little
in
work.
it, guys. It'll do it.
Let me close. Yeah, put an OS 46 LA in it. It'll handle it.
Yeah.
There's the wings, the inboard wing.
Very
you see it?
nice. Yeah, I
What are
see
you
it.
putting in it? An
Yeah.
LA 40? Did you say an LA 40 or 46?
46.
Yeah, I was going to say
LA
that.
46.
Yeah, I thought so.
And I'm going to put a Stalker 51 side exhaust in mine. I think it's just the right size for that engine. But you should be able to go clear up to a Super Tiger 60 if that's what you want. The fuselage is 1 or 3/4 of an inch thick at the trailing edge of the wing back to the end of the fuselage. And so it's maximum size. You could make it still be a profile, but it should be very stiff and strong. And I've made the nose strong enough to take the shake of a big IC. Now I've got another fuselage that I'm working up. It's a bit extended in the nose. It's set up for electric, and it should be a lot lighter. It doesn't need as much stressing or so
you've got a keel running through the trailing edge buried inside, haven't you?
yeah, well, actually there and on the front.
Yeah.
That's part of the setup for millennial wing construction, but it also helps. I think it's strengthening the wing. This is to be built like the Pathfinder LE. It's built upside down on the bench, and it'll have jigging tabs on it to hold it up and keep. And all you need is a flat surface to build on, and it's primarily designed to have molded leading edges. And there's 2 ways you can do it. You can make a molding buck and mold the whole thing, or you can do like I do. I just use a piece of, remember the leading edge balsa stock you could buy at the hobby store? Maybe they used to be cheap as all get out. But anyway, I take one of those and I wrap it with the clear film, for cooking or for storing food, and I wrap it with that. And then it's an 1.5 inch wide piece, or 1.5 inch, 2 inch piece. I think it's 1.5 inch is the distance around it. You lay that on there, you wet it, lay that on there, and then ace bandage it and let it dry. You make both of your leading edges that way. Then you slip them on when they're dry and ready to go on. You slip them on, and you can easily glue them because you're not having to reach way in there. And then you just take your regular balsa. You don't have to form the rest of it. You glue the butt edge along here.
Yes.
There'll be a butt edge right along. You glue that and bring it over, and then I trim it right to the center of that flat spar. So you've got something for the rib. What do they call them?
Cap strips.
Cap strips.
Oh, yeah. Caps, yeah.
You got something for the cap strips to sit on, and that way it helps keep them from going wonky on you. But anyway, I glue.
Uh-oh. You might have locked up on us.
I haven't built this version of this wing, but I built the other version of this wing, and it builds so easy on a flat table you won't believe it. And keep in mind, I'm a rod guy. I'm used to using rods on everything. I hadn't built one on a table in 20 years, but John talked me into doing it, and it worked out perfect. It worked out just like he said it would.
Very cool. Let me get to Caffeine and then Sparky. Hey, Caffeine, how's it going?
Hi, is doing good. I just got my LA 46 in front of door. So yeah,
Oh, good.
the
Good deal.
P40 is all done. And yeah, I would like to ask the perfect prop for the LA 46. What would you suggest?
Huh.
What was the question?
What prop would you use on an LA 46?
Oh, prop.
The front line, and then
Level 4.
the
Oh,
fuselage.
hang on, John.
As far as the way it's
John, we
built.
we lost your connection, so we kind of moved on to something else. I took your screen share down, so now we're answering Caffeine's question. He's asking what is a good prop for an LA 46, and I've had good success with the Zor 12 12.5 or 12.4.
Okay.
That's what I've liked. I don't know if you can find the Zor props.
Mhm.
Just how you can find them under badass.
Yeah. But that's what I've had good success with.
Okay. Have you tried Thunder Tiger 11 4.5?
Yes, and it works.
Okay.
11.5, 4.5. Yeah, that works great.
11,
Okay.
11 and a half, 4.5 is actually what I think is the most preferred propeller for the LA 46, if I'm not mistaken. I think that's what the guy in our club runs on his LA 46, and he's only got two APC props, and they're both the same, and he swears by them. And the engine just it has an outstandingly old school stunt to it. It's awesome when it runs with that prop on it.
No, you're talking about an APC. That's a 12 and a quarter, 3 3/4.
Okay.
Well,
okay, that's you know what I'm talking about. I don't know what
that runs. That's what I use on Tiasaki, and it runs great. But there's also an APC 12.4 that's narrow blade that runs great, and a Thunder Tiger 11 or 11.5, 4.5 runs really well.
Yeah, I was reading that on Caffeine's post on Facebook as well. There's some people threw in all the propellers that work the best for it.
Caffeine, the plane you have again, what is the plane? I lost what the plane was. What is the plane?
It's going to be for the P40.
P40, okay. Because the prop also depends upon the weight and size of the plane too. It's not just like this prop is going to be the magic prop. You have to consider the plane, the weight, all that makes a big difference.
What you got on your P40, Chow?
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember. I'd have to go down and look at it, but I would suspect it would be like I said, the Zor 12.5 or Zor 12.4.
Okay.
I might have cut down the diameter just a little bit. I mean, sometimes I will just take off, an 1/8 of an inch diameter, maybe up to 1/4 of an inch. I mean, that's between both blades, not necessarily 1/8 on each blade, but I'll shrink it down just a little bit, just to get some more performance when it goes up. And again, if a lighter plane is there, then you might not need to cut the prop down. So it all depends upon the weight. Sparky, have you had any experience with LA 46s? LA 46s? Okay.
A bit.
No problem. So I'd experiment with that. I'd take out a bunch of props, whatever you've been getting from the forum and wherever else you get, take a bunch of props out there and try it, because it takes a while to find out the right prop.
Yeah. One more question. Do you have any some sort of schedule? How do you define? How do you tell it's good prop or not? Some parameters?
Well, my experience has been, and I'm sure Sparky can add to it, and so can these other gentlemen. Like when I try to lift the nose up, if it doesn't speed up enough, it's too big of a diameter of a prop. And let's say on the other side of the coin, you're flying, and the motor is just erratic. It's just uncontrollable. It's just gets fast and it doesn't come out. So that might be too small of a prop. So
Mhm.
it's just between those things that but when it's too much of a prop, you can tell when you go up, you got like, it sounds like a lean sag, but it's not a lean sag, it's just too much prop. And I'll
Okay.
start cutting that prop down.
Okay, I see.
Anybody want to add to that?
I run an
That's what's up.
11.5
You
and
pretty
an
well got it, Charles.
I run an 11.5 and an 11.6 on my Cardinal with an LA 46. It's an ARF Cardinal.
All
And
right.
I think it weighs 2 3/4 pounds or 50 ounces or 52 ounces or somewhere around there, or 48 ounces or something like that. Uh, it flies rather well with an 11.5 Zinger or an 11.6 Master Air Screw.
Okay. Is
In
it?
our club, we have a bunch of guys with P40s and Pathfinders and similar size. And the LA 40 is, it's the ubiquitous engine, so there's everywhere. And 11.5, sometimes an 11.6 if the guy wants to fly on really long lines.
Okay.
And, the other thing I would point out is it's not just the weight of the plane. In the props that you listed and the guys were comparing, for example, the Thunder Tiger, what is it, 11, 4 and 4.5. That prop is twice the weight of a wooden prop of the equivalent size. And so if you've got CG problems, just be aware that swapping the prop around
Okay.
make
I
that
see.
worse. The other thing I would point out is that somebody mentioned APC props. My experience from racing is that an APC prop shape is extremely well engineered. And if you start chopping the tips down on an APC prop, it's not going to run nearly as cleanly. And that you'll lose efficiency. In a stunt motor, you may not care, but if you're running a heavy plane on a little bit small prop, trying to make it happy going uphill, like Charles was talking about, chopping away the tips on an APC prop might not do what you think it's going to do. So that's something to think about as well.
Okay. I will.
I mean, that John Miller, and he had a comment. John Miller, where are you at?
I just wanted to clarify. Did I say
Out again?
Yeah, John Miller, you're having bandwidth problems, it sounds like. Yeah, that's too bad.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, well, we hear you, but we can't understand you. It's like a banjo sound.
Chime in and chime out.
Yeah.
Or chime out and chime back in.
Say that.
Well, let me yeah, any more questions, Kathy, before I
How many square inches did I say that was?
Oh, geez.
740.
So let me let
It's
Sparky in.
6.
Let me find out what Sparky's been up to. Hey, Sparky, what you been up to?
It's 648.
Okay. I don't know. I just
648,
I have no energy. That's why
okay.
I haven't been on. And to the
You're
gentleman,
still sick?
yeah, to the gentleman with the propeller questions, efficiency of the propeller is in the last 20% of the prop. So it's right at the tip. So when you start monkeying with the tip, you lose efficiency. Phillips entry, they got, different scimitar shapes and all, like a APC and all that, but the last little bit of the prop is what gives you the pull. Yeah. Everything close center to the hub, I don't do shit. But you want to run the biggest propeller you can put on it, I think. I mean, that's the way I think. Fitzgerald wants to run the littlest propeller. Buy the biggest motor, choke it down, and run the littlest propeller he can find. Don't make sense to me, but I like to run the biggest prop that my engine will turn.
That's kind of silly.
You got a PA-75 running 11-4 propeller on it.
Are you kidding me? That's as short as prop is on that thing. It's 11 inches.
Yeah, it's a little dinky thing. It's
Whiz.
they blocked off the boost ports. So they buy a big motor, have a big sinker in the nose, and put a little tiny prop on it. Don't make sense.
Well, there is one other complete aspect of it, though, I will say, and that is the harder you push the engine, the more correct each of the separate parameters got to be. So the venturi size, the prop diameter, prop pitch, prop shape, the muffler restriction level, the how far the fuel tank can be away, how much viscosity your fuel can have. And you kind of back yourself into a corner where if you look at some other guy's recipe, but he's flying at a different altitude or he's using a different fuel, what happens is your sweet spot for how the engine always runs very, very repeatable, keeps getting smaller and smaller. And I finally convinced most of the guys in our club, look, stop running these stock mufflers. What you need is, for example, on the LA-46, if you take I think it's the 382 muffler, which came from a smaller engine earlier era, and you chop off the stinger and you chop it back until you have at least 300 thousandths exit diameter. It takes the back pressure off the engine and opens up that sweet spot of easy settings like this. Then you go get the prop that's in the right range and it makes it easier again. And so you may be trading fuel efficiency, but my attitude is if it burns an extra half ounce or 3/4 of an ounce and you got better cooling performance, I want that sweet spot as big as possible so that when the weather changes, I go out and it runs the same. And that's kind of what I think what some of these guys are doing with some seemingly odd combinations of big block motor, small prop, funny fuel. That's something to consider.
I see.
Go ahead, Phil.
Well, I just got one comment on that. I mean, I think the world of David. He's every time I've ever tried to talk to him, he's stopped what he was doing and talked with me, and he's one of the nicest guys you're going to meet at the field. I don't understand his setup, but let me see. He's got 12 nationals and a world championship. I ain't arguing with him.
If you swing a toilet seat long enough, you can do the pattern.
Yeah, he flies
like
pretty.
I say, 12 nationals and a world title. I'm not going to argue with him. Whatever he's doing, it's working for him.
Yeah.
I can recall a similar thing, and I'll try not to name any names here, but a structural engineer that I happen to know was giving me the whole sigh and shake of the head about another significant modeler who was chopping away at his maple engine mounts in order to put in aluminum pads so that there would be a nice hard seat for mounting and so on. And that created a stress concentration. And my answer kind of was this: how many engine mounts has he broken as he went off and won yet another major US or international event? And then the answer was, well, yeah, but. And I go, yeah, okay. If he's not breaking,
I know who you're talking about. Yeah, you're right. It's hard to argue with those guys.
If it's working, don't change it.
Yeah,
that's it. If it works, don't fix it. I wish I'd learned that lesson much earlier, because I spent a whole lot of money making a brand new car, much better. And the end result was I'd spent a whole lot of money to have a car that did the same thing it did when I got it brand new. I wish I'd left it alone, but
Mr.
16 years old and had a good job, and man, you waste a lot of money learning.
Mr. Fitzgerald's airplane's not very light either for having that small of a prop on it. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the weight of his airplane, but I think his airplane weighs like 76 or 74 ounces or something like that. It's not a very light airplane.
He has a new airplane. Maybe the new one's lighter.
Well, I asked him in Vegas how much his new airplane weighed, and it was, I believe, 74 or 76 ounces.
The weight don't matter.
No.
Boy, then y'all take note who said that.
Yeah.
Take note who said that.
That's what all the big guys say. Weight don't matter. You know why they say that? It's hard to build them light.
It's hard to build them light. Yes.
That's no joke. Nobody can argue with that. We on that, Sparky.
Yes.
I just had a gentleman come over the house and pick an airplane up, and I handed him that I mean, you know, the profile weighs more than that Viper, you know. I said, wow, this is unbelievable. Well, it's just like what I'm doing here. The gentleman was talking about whittling on motor mounts. I'm taking this 3-ounce crutch and whittling it into nothing. It's you know, 1/8 inch on the side there, 1/8 inch on the side there, and it's about, it'll be sanded down to, I don't know, 5/16 on this side here. But where the motor sets is still 3/8 by half.
Still thick.
You don't need all that shit, all that weight.
Excessive weight.
I made one. Where'd it go? I don't know. Here it is. I made one. I didn't like it because it wasn't quite long enough. So I made another one that was long enough to, this glues to the top of the spar. The beam, top of the I-beam. And that way the engine vibration goes directly from the engine to the wing, and it kind of disperses.
It's transferred to the spar, so it takes up the whole airplane instead of just on the fuselage.
Instead of just the nose.
Well,
these normally weigh 3 ounces. This one here weighs 1.6 ounces.
Sparky, let me ask you something stupid. That piece of wood that you have in your hand there, those 2 bearers and that crutch.
Yeah.
Is that how you start that's basically the start of the full fuselage aircraft. That's the motor mounts, right? Before you install them in the fuselage?
Correct.
Okay.
This is the heart of your airplane right here.
Okay, you're right. You build those on the table first and set them to the engine width and everything, the diameter of the fuselage, and then you go ahead and build around that. Is that right?
Correct. I lay the fuselage out like this.
Uh-huh.
And then of course I put a doubler on it, you know.
Right.
I glue this. I do the engineering on the wood instead of on paper.
Okay.
And I set it down 3/16 of an inch. It glues together just like that, and that's it. Now you got a fuselage crutch when you're done.
Right. Very nice.
The way that I've been building my airplanes, the fuel tank sits, this is the leading edge, this square right here.
Okay.
The fuel tank sits way back here, and 1/4 inch behind that, the bell crank starts. So there's no beam in between here. So this will get a hole cut in this, then the doubler gets glued on it, so it'll be a hole on the outside. And when I, you know, cut my leading edge wood, I epoxy it to the doubler from the outside, so it's clean inside here.
Right. Very nice.
This is a balsa block up here because I'm using 3/4 inch prop extension to move the engine back. This one here is a little different. It's 9 3/4 inch nose moment and a 16.5 inch tail moment. So we're moving the weight farther back because I've noticed on these airplanes that I'm building that if they're at 52 ounces and I'm shooting for 48, that leaves my balance point between 15 and 20%, and it's not too nose heavy. So instead of adding weight, you just move it.
Hey, Spark, you have a question. What pin are you using to mark on that balsa fuselage side?
Anything that'll write.
Anything? Okay.
Hey, Charles, something I've been using for the last couple of years that works real good. I've got, this is a Pentel Energel.
Okay. I'm writing this down.
They tend not to clog as you're dragging it over the balsa.
It's called a Pentel Energel?
Yeah, it's ENER and then capital GEL. And it's called Liquid Gel Ink.
Okay.
And it's got a what they call a needle tip, which is 0.05, presumably that's millimeters. Yeah, 0.5 millimeter ball. And they've been working pretty good for me.
This is
thank
a
you.
Staples Regions Bank pen, free.
Sorry, what'd you say the name of that pen was?
It's a Pentel Energel, so Energel. And you don't hardly have to press down at all. You can just the weight of the pen, just drag it across, and sometimes it'll give you a good enough mark. So
Sometimes it'll give you a good enough mark.
just dragging it, yeah. If you push on it, it'll, it's a ball. It's not a felt tip.
Yeah.
You want a big, wide, blobby, leaks everywhere, but no pressing down. Use a fine point Sharpie. But the problem with that is the ink just bleeds with the
Yeah.
grain.
Right.
Smudges.
Yeah. So
Right.
the gel ink, prevents that, and it dries pretty quick. So it's not like you have to wait a minute before you drag your hand across it and smear the ink everywhere.
Well, thank you. I'll check them out. 'Cause I've tried a lot of different pens, and when I saw the markings on that Sparky did, it looked like he had some pretty good markings on that balsa.
Yeah.
That's not easy to do.
It's a Staples, like I say, it's a Staples ballpoint pen from Regions Bank. Just free. I
The
went
best
to
kind.
I went to sign my deposit slip. I said, "Hey, this is a nice pen. Can I have it?" She said, "Yeah, sure, take it." Okay, great, thanks.
Hey, free. You can't beat that.
I try all kind of pens. I got hundreds of pens here from
Yeah,
side painting and artwork and different stuff. But
Yes.
you could tell when you're writing on paper if it's going to work good or not.
That's why I asked. I have a chat from Marcel Legrand. It says, "Hi, Charles, and everyone at Stunt School. Just finished work." Well, thank you for checking in with us, Marcel.
Yeah, that's what I need. I need his.
Hey, Marcel Legrand. Gary sent you a PM on the Stunt Hangar forum. Can you please check your messages and then reply with your address? Gary has a calendar for you. He'd like to send it to you, but he needs your address.
Oh man, yeah, I'm
Yeah,
still not.
you'll want it. It's nice this year. It's nice every year, but it's really nice.
What do you got there,
All
Ed?
right, guys, I gotta go.
Well,
All
I
right.
wanted
Hey,
to.
thanks, Jonathan. Thanks for coming
Cheers,
in, man.
John.
That looks nice, by the way. It's coming along.
This
now.
this is for Stuart.
What's that?
Stuart, this is about $100 worth. You can fly indoors, and just something that Bob Hunt did with Park Flyers. I didn't know. I showed it before. I didn't know if you had seen it. So
Yeah, actually, I took a screenshot of. I think you had the pieces laid out or something. I think that was yours.
okay.
And I
That
did,
is
but
sick.
yeah, I'll keep that in mind. If I do have a plain lens given me that is a built-up wing on it, but it might be good for that type of thing. But that would be good if you get some kids interested.
Right.
Make it not too expensive.
And it
So-
takes rough handling pretty good.
Yeah,
I had one go straight in. The guy went. I was trying to show went to do a wing over on takeoff because he thought he had to keep lifting his arm as the airplane went up, and it just did a wing over straight into the ground. Reglued part of the wing, changed the prop, pressed on.
There you go.
Wow, neat little airplane.
Very cool.
It's a great thing about foam. You just get a roll of Lowe's duct tape and you can put her back together and keep on flying, huh? Put a new prop on.
Yeah.
Yep.
Hey, John
Don't
Miller,
bend
did you
that
raise
rotor
your hand again? Or was that from before?
Yeah. No, I raised it again. I wanted to make it clear. I misspoke when I gave the square inches on that Trailblazer wing. It's not 748, it's 648.
Okay.
Ah,
I
Okay.
just wanted to get that out.
Sure. I'm glad your audio worked for that.
Yeah, I was gonna say 748. That's a monster. That's a big ship. That's a big one.
Yeah.
Speaking of monster
Yeah,
ships,
yeah, yeah.
we talked earlier about the LA-46 and how much everybody likes that. One of our club members has been flying forever a monster RC conversion ship as a, I don't know, a crazy airplane to fly. And the last engine that he had on it was an LA-65. And I was always curious about the LA-65. Nobody will use it because it weighs a ton.
Mm-hmm.
But on this RC 3D profile model that he converted to control line, it's got a real short nose. And so he put that motor on it, got rid of all the nose weight. And I can tell you that it runs a whole lot like an LA-46.
Mm.
So it's the same mild, easy to tune.
Wow.
It will run in kind of whatever RPM range you want to run it in. It just seemed really docile, but it's big, so there's a lot of horsepower there.
Didn't he have an Enya 60 on that airplane before?
He did. Yep.
Yeah.
And Enya wasn't real happy about slowing down, and it was really finicky about the fuel. So
Yeah.
he swapped it out to try the.
Playing that airplane with that Enya, I could never believe the first time I saw that. The first year I was there, I couldn't believe how slow that thing do stunts, man. That'd be crazy.
Is that the guy with the that had the spider
Yes.
Spider Nobler?
Yeah, Chris Forbes.
Okay.
Yeah, he had the Spider Nobler at VSC that year. Yeah, the joke about his big red airplane was that the minute he pulled up into the wing over, we could all go out and have a hamburger before
Yeah, I remember.
he'd have to pull out on the other side. We wanted to see how he did the pull out, but we had a lot of time.
It flies so slow, you're thinking it couldn't do it. It was amazing.
Exactly. Yeah.
So, hey, I want to ask you a question, David. I know that you're president of the Sepulveda Circle Burners, right?
Valley Circle Burners in the Sepulveda Basin, yes.
So you have a contest coming up soon?
I'm just trying to put our schedule together almost as we speak. We're hoping to run what our normal schedule would be. We'd have a spring contest, and then later in the year we'd have the High Johnson contest with more events. We always have a half A contest, and some other things mixed in, the club picnic, a few other things. So hopefully I'll get that out here as a draft in the next week or two. What I've been looking for each year, I try to put together all the conflicts in the, let's say, California and Arizona areas so that we don't unfortunately overlap with something like the Vegas Stunt Challenge or, the meet and greet or any of the possibles.
Good idea. I'd like to come to one of your contests. Because last time I was at one of your contests was the Johnson contest.
Mm-hmm.
High Johnson. That was several years ago. Are you going to go to the Southwestern Regionals, or anybody in your club that's going to go to that?
I haven't talked that around, so I'm not aware.
Yeah, it's February 3rd and 4th out in Tucson, Arizona.
Wow, that's coming up quick.
Yeah, that's why I mentioned it.
Okay, thank you.
If anybody else is thinking about going out there, maybe we can carpool or something. I'm most likely going by myself, most likely.
We've been advertising that contest in our newsletter, so our club members should be aware of it.
Okay, cool.
Oh man.
Who am I putting to sleep?
Sparky.
Is that you, Sparky?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, you haven't been feeling good, so I only can imagine.
I've had zero energy.
Yeah, that should pass. That's just part of what you're going through.
It's been 2 weeks and he hasn't finished an airplane. He must be feeling bad.
I barely worked on anything. I could work for about, I don't know, 15 minutes. And I did a couple of shows, but it's just too hard for me to think for an hour.
Yeah. I have a Brent Williams. He said, "Howdy, y'all. Hey, Brent. Nice to hear
Hey,
from
Brent.
you." Brent, are you going to go to the Southwestern Regionals? I know it's a little bit of a drive for you from Utah, but I just thought I'd ask.
If Howard's watching this, I remember what file you were supposed to send me, Howard. The file you used to cut those on your laser, those hinges on your laser, so I can try to cut them with my laser.
Well, hopefully if he's not watching live, you might watch the replay.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna try to. I got a pin router. I can eat mine. My laser will go either with a router or a laser. I'll put the router bit in it and see if I can't do it that way instead of burning the edges of the pin. You know, the hinges.
So what are you doing with the hinges? I'm curious about. Are you making them from scratch or?
Yeah, I've been making them from scratch for a long time. Howard made me. He said, "Well, what do they look like?" And I sent him a picture, and he laser cut me some, and they're okay, but they're burnt on the edges, and that makes them pretty hard to finish.
What are you making them out of?
6-ply plywood.
Oh, so these would be like this kind of hinge.
It's a popsicle.
Gotcha.
It looks like a lollipop.
Yeah. Okay.
And the hinge pivots 3/16 of an inch back from the leading edge, so that it's a pocket hinge, so I can make it a knuckle like that.
Yeah.
And I've been using them, I don't know, going on 20 years now. Everybody likes them, but they're not easy to make.
Yeah, they're very nice. Very clean, and you don't use any hinge tape.
No, 0 hinge tape. You don't have to. You can't get it any tighter than it's set inside each other. I mean, it's a ball joint. I mean, I got an elevator over there if you want to see one. And
why don't you show it to David? He might not have seen it before. It's pretty neat.
See if I can find it here.
Yeah, that kind of hinge is pretty common on full-scale aircraft. I know on the RV4 that I built, if you look at the horizontal stabilizer and the elevator's got a radius leading edge. The ball joint for the pivot is like if you shrink down a Robart pin, what do they call them? Pin points or something like
right.
That.
Yeah.
It's kind of the same concept. Then there's a hole in that radius leading edge, so the hole comes, cuts it back a ways, and the brackets poke through. So you're what I'm imagining Sparky's talking about is the plywood would extend back from the surface, and so what you end up with is
here's
skin.
Sparky right now. Let me show you, David. You make Sparky big.
Okay, this is the trailing edge of the stab, and the leading edge of the elevator is round, and this hinge is set into the elevator. Then, and this, I wonder if I could figure out which side this was on. Had to be this side. Then this sits into it like that, and it pivots.
Yep.
Inside there. And the horn is set in the same set of hinges, so everything's perfectly in line. It's 3/16 of an inch back from the leading edge.
Nice.
And I've been doing that with the flaps too. It looks clean, and there's none of that BS tape. I hate that tape. Bob Whiteley said, "You got to tape your hinges." So I taped the hinges, almost hit the ground. Enough of that.
Thank you, Sparky. Yeah. Hey, I got a message from Marcel Legrand, Gary. He sent me the address because he's having a hard time getting into the forum for some reason. And so I have the address. I'll forward it to you very shortly.
Okay.
So if there's anybody else, let me know. Maybe we can get their address.
Hard time getting into the forum. There's nothing wrong with the forum.
Marcel Legrand, why can't you get into the forum? Because Sparky's here. If you need to reset your password or something, Sparky can help you.
Let me see here.
And
Nope.
Brent Williams says, I probably will not attend the Southwestern Regionals. Never been to Tucson. Sounds fun, though. It is fun. The CD is John Calentine. And John Calentine, boy, John Calentine is a great builder, man. He sent me
He's a lot of fun to be around too.
Yeah, he sent me a picture of his new P39. I want to ask him if I can share it.
Yeah, I've got to go, guys. I've got an appointment in the morning. So good seeing you all.
Good
and
seeing
all
you.
the
Thank
best.
you, Ed. Thank you so
Yeah.
much for coming in, man.
All right,
Take care,
cheers.
Ed.
All right,
See you,
cheers.
Ed.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
John Miller left. Oh, darn.
So I think we're pretty much all caught up. Everybody's had a chance to share with what they've been up to. And so let me see if we can get together again, maybe Friday. Hopefully between now and Friday, you have a chance to do some flying and work on your shop or work on your new airplane or do something with your old airplane and then come back and tell us all about it Friday.
Sounds good.
Until then, fair winds, tight lines. Thank you for watching. Please like, share,